You know, there is a long, storied history of television stations mistaking gameplay for real-life footage. And one game that seems especially prone to this is the realistic ARMA series of war simulators. And it's happened again. Somehow it's happened again.
A tribute to Russia's military aired on the country's main flagship news program on Sunday. Most viewers didn't notice anything wrong with it, but some users of Russian social media site Peekaboo, which is kind of like Reddit, spotted that some of the footage edited into a sequence showing Su-25 Frogfoot jets was in fact from a video game. Yes, the weekly Voskanoye Vremya program on the state-run channel 1 TV used footage from ARMA 3 in its broadcast by accident. The report was a celebration of Russia's armed forces to mark Defender of the Fatherland Day. It was a tribute to, quote, those who value duty and honour above their own lives. The Su-25 sequence in particular was to honour a pilot, Roman Filipov, who was killed in action in Syria early in February.
Now, the brief ARMA footage shows a truck being targeted through a gun sight. Peekaboo users debated whether or not the footage was deliberately included, with some users suggesting the footage was a hidden sign added by a Channel 1 TV editor who was begging for help. Another theory was that it might have been an Easter egg for gamer-savvy viewers. Well, Channel 1 released a statement not long after it was spotted, saying the footage was just a mistake. The use of this frame was a mistake by the video editing director who took it from the archive. Reports later emerged on Russian radio that the footage was from a previous news story on video games. So this happens like a lot more than you might expect, and maybe ARMA is a bit understandable because it tries to be a realistic war simulator, so it's like real vehicles and the sights look realistic and the graphics are decent and stuff, so I guess it could easily just slip in if you're just searching through an archive and you just happen to search trucks getting exploded, and then some ARMA footage pops up as part of that because that's in your archive because of the actual video game report you did previously. I can kind of see how it happens, but oh my god, how does it happen this often? It happens really often. We're going to point out in a little bit later on in the video.
It's inexcusable, isn't it, Mike? Making a mistake in editing like that, where you wouldn't find it happening on our
Not on YouTube, mate.
We wouldn't.
Not on this channel.
We wouldn't do anything like that. One of my favourites was when we edited in Starkiller Base instead of Hoth, and like the users lost their shit. Yeah. It's not just us guys. These
Russia.
Guys, Russia do it too.
Thing with this as well, though, Jake especially likes to do it on purpose. He deliberately makes mistakes that are so obvious. They're so obviously on purpose, and people are still like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that you used fucking Buzz Lightyear instead of Darth Vader or whatever."
Or the Australian flag instead of like the British flag. How do you not know that? They don't pay attention to the other two flags, which are quite obviously wrong as well. It's just their flag. Their flag is wrong.
So this is of course not the first time this has happened. It's not even the first time it's happened with an ARMA game, or for that matter, in Russia.
Back in 2011, several viewers complained to the regulator Ofcom in the UK after an ITV report which referenced an IRA terrorist attack from 1988. What were they complaining about? Well, the channel used footage from military sim ARMA 2 by accident.
I remember actually seeing this, and I was like, quite obviously a video game. It's kind of a bit hazy and a bit blurry. I don't know if they put some processing or something over it. I was just sitting there in my living room with my parents going, that's a game. That's obviously a game. And in 2012, BBC News memorably used the Halo universe's United Nations Space Command logo instead of the real-life logo for the UN. The News at One bulletin had presenter Sophie Rayworth talking about Amnesty International's criticism of UN involvement in Syria with the UNSC logo overlaid on the studio behind.
There was some sort of pharmaceutical company in Korea that were using the umbrella logo from Resident Evil. That was quite funny. It's the same kind of thing, using the wrong logo. You would never catch us doing that. We would never do that.
The perils of Google Images.
In 2013, a Danish TV network apologised after showing a screenshot of Assassin's Creed as part of a report on Syria. And in 2014, Russian TV used a screenshot from Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, in a political commentary report on African child soldiers. There's no comedy in that, Meg. Let's move on.
Yeah. But perhaps the most embarrassing case came in November last year. The Russian Defense Ministry released what it described as irrefutable proof that the US was aiding Islamic State fighters in the Middle East. Now that irrefutable proof, though, included pictures from the smartphone game AC-130 Gunship Simulator Special Ops Squadron. That's a little bit embarrassing because if you call something irrefutable proof, and it turns out to be footage from a smartphone game that no one's heard of.
I mean, I don't want to use the term, but it's fake news.
It's essentially just exactly what people are talking about with fake news.
And talking of fake news, let's see what drivel you've been leaving in our comments this week.
I like that one. That was a good one. Can't shake off that feeling that Beric Akonda is undercover Lance Cobalt. What's the game cop after? Could it be that Michael Noctul is a fraud and about to be unmasked? I don't know who any of those people are.
Is this the wrong channel?
Probably. I've not. Beric Akonda, Michael Noctul.
How do you even say that? Noctul?
That's so embarrassing. He's just left the comment.
Wrong channel.
Done it on the wrong channel. God, that's embarrassing.
Cute Justice comments, honestly, I have trouble telling PGG and Layman Gaming apart. They're basically identical. Maybe they should merge.
So they would get the layman part of the name and we'd give the gaming part of the name, and then the channel would be Layman Gaming.
Yeah. I mean, I can see where the similarities are. I mean, we've got identical accents. There's two guys looking at a camera talking about games. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's completely the same.
We're both, yeah, exactly. We're both from Australia, so.
Yeah, that's it. Next up, DD comments. If you read this, you're gay. You got me and everyone else who read it on the screen. Just that. I mean, you got us, dude. You got us. We're all gay.
That's really not how homosexuality works.
Isn't it?
No. And Mant111 says, damn censorship, all I wanted was to sell gambling to children and people with addictive tendencies. It's 2018, how can such inhuman censorship still exist? My casino won't be able to make billions like this. So hard to be a bloodthirsty corporate executive these days, isn't it? It's so hard.
You don't have to make it hard, yeah.
Yeah, all the loot box censorship is going on. It's sad for art is what it is.
Next up on the Konami Bans Love video, SFMG Tara 001 says, you can't ban my left hand. I mean, that they didn't think about that, did they? They didn't think about that.
That'll be in the next game, won't it? They'll just add that in.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works.
You're making love to yourself while playing this game.
Can't wait to make that video. So there you go, a news network used gameplay footage instead of real life footage again. Can you think of any other examples? Let us know what they are down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every single day. There's another video right there which you can watch right now if you want, and the link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.